Yes, we was last talking about the tree of life, the night side and the day side of the tree. I'm gonna keep it going with that. And I've been missing for a quick minute. It's a lot going on with that. I'm gonna put that in another video, but I'm gonna just do the tree of life right now because this involves another part to it for us to understand. I don't recall where I left off at the last end of that video because that was a week or two ago. So we're just going to continue, and I'm picking it up from like the root chakra. Yes. And from the root chakra now is where the story's going to start, where we're going to say that everybody know the 7 chakras basically, which is the Sephiroth or the Kalipop, and when it gets down to the root, I was telling you that at 5 o'clock when the sun go down, that's when I tell you that, we assume like the werewolf type characteristics where we change, we invert. And so as the magnetic field of our bodies, it goes underneath our anus and start going back up our spine. But the tree on the back side of us now, it's not the same like the front with the crown being on the top. The crown is by the anus. That's where you got the Christ at, or, the man on the throne is your soul, really. And, and that's why you see the story about they go on the donkey, or you have Amsu and Egyptian, what they call them, stories, funerary texts. That's all the same thing. It's the same concept. The funerary text is really chakra texts. It's not funerary texts. So, anyways, when you get down to the bottom line is, you get down to your anus at 5 o'clock, the sun goes down there, and a transformation takes place within yourself. And that's what this is about. This is like to learn the philosophy of how all this works, because this is about not just your inner self, how your body works, which is really the concept, but we're talking now the concept of God, which is unity of one. Everything is actually in sync, and the synchronicity of it all is that God particle that holds it all down together, the matrix. So with that in mind, for now you to understand how does the tree invert, why is it like that? The principle of it would be the same as like you as a fallen angel. As you came as a fallen angel, you wind up falling into matter. That's what it means, really, the fall. And the fall is considered desire. Your desires became what was made you blind to your godhood or your angelic side and so forth. So really your soul fell asleep is the terminology a lot of people could relate to and see. So, and now the body, as it goes through whatever it has to go through to be, physical, you have encounters with matter. Spirit encounters matter. Well, the ancients and the Romans, they had it written down that God, who is good, anything good is considered from God. Platonic philosophy says the same thing too. But now, where we get evil from then? Where all the badness come from? Well, biblically they're equated to Satan, demons or stuff like that. So their philosophy is when we're in our spiritual divine state, or when God is up in his God state, he's divine. But when he came down and became matter for us to exist in, he himself fell into desires and pleasures. So he inverted and he became the what we call Diablos. So demon, which is the same DE, is actually means of the. So like most is mean son of. So is the term D. So when you look at D and then you have Ablo, you're looking at where we get our actually God, or the substance of what you're created from. And now, when you look at the word itself, it's desire that it actually came from, desireo, which is the actual Roman word that it was interpreted, and diablo being the opposite of it. So when you look at desireo, and the DE meaning just of the substance of, and Zyro is side. Sidero is the same thing as saying side rail, which is really your astral body. That was the original word that Paracelsus used. You could look it up. Side rail body is our common term for what we call the astral. You know, so you realize your desire is caught into the astral world. Now, what is the astral world? Is the same thing as what we see in the sky. When you look at a star, put an A in the beginning of star, and you have Astra. So your desires is the stars you're seeing. That's your physical matter self manifesting itself. So your desires and the stars is the same thing, which is an astral body, or what we call star. Now, in the biblical sense, or theology, they tell you that these is Satan or the evil side. And it has a truth to it, because your desires is what keep you here. Your desires is what you follow, give you your will to survive. So now that you're caught up in your desires, say you stare at stars, stare at suns and all this stuff, it actually influences your desire. You're putting more of the demons, or you're unlocking this, you could say the chest of Solomon, the canister that he has sealed your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind. That's what you're actually tapping into. Now, the reason why this is important is because they now have that other word where they put the M on the aster, and you get master. So your thing with the theology they're trying to teach you is to be like the Father, Abba, master. They call him teacher, master. And what he's mastering matter. What is matter? Astral, star, master. That's why they put the M on master. So M is really controlling the astral side of yourself, the astral realm. So when we talk about master, like some teacher master, some master teacher, it was never meant in that sense. It was meant in the sense as somebody who mastered matter, who mastered their desires. Because, like I said, I'm gonna show you the term where is God is the devil is God inverted, and God is the devil inverted, and it's a true story. And it's funny how they depict it, though. If you could Google it under Deus Invertios, D-E-I-O-S, or D-I-O-S, I-N-V-E-R-T-U-S, Invertios. And I think it's another one, or Dios S Invertios, or Demon S Dios Invertios. These is all actually Latin words from the original translations, how they had it written. And the concept of what this is saying is that once, the master himself, God, came down and actually was spirit form, psychic form, chakra world form, put himself in position to be matter, he himself fell in love with the desire and became Satan. So that's why in the biblical sense, they tell you your physical body belongs to Satan because it's of matter. And if you follow your body and your external self, you're just going to follow your desires, the stars, the planetary beings control your desires. Your desires make the stars. What you see, if you didn't have no desires, there wouldn't be no stars in the sky. You understand what I'm saying? But what gives you your desires? You have these entities or beings from these different planetaries. Look it up. They're the planetary influences of the stars on human being, or planets on human being. You understand they have very significant influence. Look at the moon itself, just alone how it controls the tides. Each one do it, but they don't tell you this. This is occult knowledge. But once you get a grasp this, you will learn to control your desires. Now, when you control your desires, you get to control your Merkaba, your system that I'm teaching you now, which is the Star of David. We started off with the front tree of life, which would be the star going facing down, pointing down. Now we're doing with the star facing up. You understand what I'm saying? So we get the whole tree of life. So now, because we're going to cross shoulder-wise, you want to put, and I put the points at the root chakra and then at the crown chakra. You understand? One is feminine, one is masculine. That's it. When you put those two together, still form the same energy we talk about as Shakti, and together with the Inga and Pingala, Isis or Osiris. So it's still the same science, but now you get an understanding of why especially people who go into the astral world, see horned beings, entities, negative influence beings, and we have many categories to place why as the cause now. Don't just summarize it as that, because you have thought forms, your own desires. Thoughts is where we're living in when we're talking about the chakra world and the whole magnetic field. It's manipulated by your thoughts. So now, during that now, the actual Merkaba is being built, and you get the concept of it now. To own it back from your desires, your soul, from anything other than yourself, meaning your consciousness, is the job that you're here to do. And so chakra work is required to actually get the spinning of your Merkaba going, so you and your consciousness could leave, and that's what it is to be a master, a M with the aster after it. You mastering matter. Matter is the stars, and the M is the mastering of it. So you gotta, I hope I said that right, because I'm talking very fast. That's M is the matter, and the aster is the stars. So you're mastering matter, but it's the astral stars that is your emotions and desire to control the matter. Now I slowed it down to make it make sense. So that's our purpose of doing that. So now that you understand that there is a legitimate devil, you're going to see the devil in the astral world. That's a fact. You're going to see horned beings. You're going to be facing with desires and impulses, negative, all types of ones. There's people who have feelings inside of them, them being a child, I don't know what to call it, freakiness for children. I'm not going to go to the levels that we be thinking. I'm just going to say kids under 12 years old and stuff like that. And it be buried in them. They don't know, or they play with them in unconscious ways that you could see it, but they don't see it. They're headed in that direction and don't know it. But if they go into meditation and astral project, they will do it in there, and they will see it and come to terms with it, because they'll smack them in their face. Some people is not there yet, like they're gonna do it. You understand what I'm saying? But your spirit and soul will warn you way before time. It's up to you to see it. It's up to you to understand what you're seeing and come to terms with truth and want to do something about it. All right, so that's just about that. Let's get back to the tree of life now and the other side. Now you understand you got to get the Merkaba spinning. How you get the Merkaba spinning is get the chakra spinning. When you get the chakra spinning, you open each chakra and go through it. It's a knot there. Each knot has to be a knot. When you unknot it, it opens up like mad orbs. Orbs that form like a flower, just circles and circles like a sunflower. That's one chakra you go through, and you go all through like your cave, like Plato said he's in the cave or the dragon's mouth, and you find another one, and you're going to keep doing that. You're just going to be either like a Casper glowing light, Some people like me, I could be either a glowing light or like a dark cloud shadow. I could turn into different animals. I could turn into different beings. It depends where I'm at in the zone of the body. All right. You got to see where this is headed. Because what is a star? A star is you. You're the star. What's inside of a star is what's inside your astral body, what you see in the astral world. Remember, we're saying star. That's a star you're in. But it's not what your physical eye sees, it's not an illusion. It's not there. We remember matter, is just a platform for us to perform as energy, and it's not actual. It's subject to change. And somebody is giving you this platform for you to have these experiences on, with them being the Wizard of Oz behind it. You just got to figure it out, like the wisdom of Solomon. That's why they had that whole parable, so you could wake up. They can't tell you this in detail because it'll make you still not clean. You have to purify yourself from your desires for you to ascend back to your angelic self. So know that when you're in your physical form, you're subject to desirable things. You're subject to taking care of your body. You're subject to a lot of these things that if you're not conscious of what I just said, you will be unconscious to your desires. And you will just be propelled around doing not saying negative things, but things that's not progressive towards your soul. And so once you get that and you understand the theory, you won't be jumping at every emotion, every feeling you get. You will think first. And by thinking first, you will realize it's something that you have to solve within it. It's a test that requires this thought, the mind. That's all this is. Physically, it's not for that. You know, our physical, that's why you see most ancient pictures and the Egyptians in a position of doing yoga. Buddha style stuff. Indians, everybody, you see it, that's their tradition. The body wasn't rendered like how we do it now, you know, all big, muscular, we're scared. That shows you're scared. Disarm yourself and show that you got a mind. I'm not saying to disarm yourself because right now I'm on a tropical place, you know, learning and ascending. But if I was on the other side, I'd be guns up to them, arms big, chest big. It's just the people we're around, the environment we're around, and they're not themselves awake, so you're subject to face reality of those environments. But you have to find a place that's your getaway, that you could put your guns down for a minute and take off your battle gear and be yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you look at any Egyptian picture, any Indian picture, any I'm talking any Indian, from the American Indians to those Indians in the East, they never really was big cock diesel people. They really never was in situations like we're in currently today, under the pressure and stresses that we're under today. Everybody lived under one mind. And right now, our minds is all separated between state and religion, between politics and, you know, our real way of life. Nobody live within the truth of what their reality is. Everybody want to be associated to some type of social network, some type of social system, some type of political system, some type of theology system, some type of family, some type of gang banging. You got to be associated. It's like we don't know how to disassociate or disattach because we're so afraid of being alone. That's the key word, to be alone, which is your destiny is to be deity. But you got to realize you're not alone. You're only looking at life through your physical eyes, but your thoughts will tell you you're not alone. Your thoughts is your spirits. Every thought is a different spirit. You have millions of thoughts because you have millions of spirits. You have to unite yourself with your thoughts. That's your intuition, and focus on the ones that's going to help you spiritually, not the one that's going to help you financially. But at the same time, I'm not saying deny your financial situations. Stabilize yourself. Redeem yourself from financial redemption by getting in cash flow instead of checks. Stop living on a check. When you live off a check, you're subject to the law, subject to the government. That's why they have to tax you. They don't tax the rich because they put into the system, they put into the economy. So you have to work and sacrifice, get a partner, and y'all sacrifice, sleep in your mother's house, both of y'all, and get that whole year worth salary and start up your dream business, and you will get the tax break. Start up a few business and try to barter, use the corporate system to actually have money cycling instead of worrying about having a bunch of cash or a paycheck to go run your desires through. You got to think in a bigger way of looking at life. Yes. And once you see life from that perspective, you will get out of the tax bracket of getting the government taking your money, and you get tax breaks and tax benefits. That's how we're supposed to live, not get checks. You're supposed to just have circulation of money, cash flow. And how you do that is about opening up little different business, little ventures here. It don't even have to be at first tax deductible businesses. You do it through what your intuition tell you to do it, and another person that's real like you that have almonds, and over here almonds is $2.50, and he's selling almonds for $1.50. You start taking them over there, you start putting them in bags, you start putting your labels on it. You see, it's money out here in business to make, but we're lazy. We got to stop doing that. 19 minutes and I still ain't talk about the other backside of the tree. Let's get back to that. So look, now that we know about the front and the back side, like I was saying, your trick now is to learn the night side. Because in the evening time, you werewolf, you change. That's the whole theory of Deus Inversus. You understand? The demon side of you come in, your desire. That's why you see the D. Anything with D-E spelled first is the of the substance of matter. That's what it mostly is. It's a desire. So it's not real. It's more of a Maya. It's an illusion. So we chasing this now. We have to face our night demons. And the night demons is more, if you look, you want to socialize after 7 o'clock. Everybody's on Facebook. Everybody's on social media. We calling up our spouses of the numbers we got, co-workers. Everybody's doing their little desirable things. And that's the lessons, and that's what we create. It's not like it actually come to us and it's something unconscious to us. It's we at the same time do this and make it there. And so by us creating it, you get to realize you are the star. Inside of you is everything that you would think of would be in a star if you could get in tune with your inner self. You know, when you're talking to astral, like I said, you're traveling through your body. All the different places of this universe reside in you because you're the precursor of all of this. So with that in mind now, when you're traveling and you're going up the night side of the tree and the evening time come, you have different gods per hour. Each hour renders you a new teacher. With the teacher, he has a whole bunch of dukes that work underneath him that subject you to the different lessons you're going to encounter by the minutes. It all works through the circadian rhythm and the hour, minutes, and seconds of the day, which give you your month and your yearly processions of where the sun is at. So it's still the sun acting upon you, even though you don't see the sun. Its magnetic field is the same like when roosters start crowing at 4 o'clock in the morning and babies wake up and men have a hard penis if they not out there exhausting themselves having a lot of sex. So with that in mind now, as that journey goes up into your back or your spine, you go through different gods per hour, minute, second, and you got a main god who not only is it for the day, there's one that resides for the month, there's one that resides for the year, there's that reside for your whole life that is going to be your witness. These is all your Satans, your Devis that we're talking about now, because they're part of the body system, which is still another part of God's system, but it's part now of the material part of the thing where matter resided. It goes to this way where your spirit side go to this way with a same God but with a different demeanor, different attitude. It's the same person. So when you look at God and the Satan, it's one and the same. Like you have a good side of yourself and a bad side of yourself together. They're the polarities to equal one you. So now as you climb up the tree and it's the cycles you're going through, depending what species you are and where you come from, is where your lessons is going to come from. You don't just get any lesson and you just don't do whatever you want, which a lot of people do when they go astral traveling. But if you was just to go there and you not have up the makeup of the walls, which will come, they'll put up the main picture, but the astral is mostly dark, ghost-like, and as you interact with each spiritual guide, they bump foreheads with you, and as they bump foreheads, information start coming in waves that looks like DMT explosions. You hold it, as you hold it, it start forming now whole images like you just appear in a room someplace and this is it. But he's there feeding you his part in your life. It's a forever life journey because like I said, you was here before this was even here. You understand this thought. So you get back all your past lives, all the different characters you played out in life, all of these start coming back to you through the night side of the tree. Where in the daytime, it's about fixing your chakras, opening up yourself, and healing yourself. You're going through your body, and you don't know you're in your body. You think you're in another place or another time zone or another planet, but you're actually in your body healing something, but they make it like a virtual reality game. You know, there's a good one on it if you want to go into look into it and hear about it. I think it was L. Ron Hubbard. They have wrote about him with Dianetics. that he had people going into the astral world like it was a video game, and they was driving like if it was an old pole position or just first person driving game. That's how it works. You'd be just a first person, and the scene could be from anything from Roman times to back in the year in Mars or Egypt, or it could be just you see your body. So like me, I started learning it when I start breathing, and I could see a wave up and down, like if I'm in the water, like how we think we're in the water. You realize you're in you're outside your body, but floating in the magnetic field of it. You know, science is deep though. You know, I got the laws. There's so much laws to this that it's like, wait till I really bring it to people. They don't have no idea. No scientists have any idea of how any of this works. And I'm telling you, because it don't work like we think. It might work, but we don't know what we're doing. When I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing to the smallest detail. You will see in the future. It's hopefully God let out and the ancestors let out information. I could show more and teach more, you know. Everything I do, I try to teach a little bit so that we won't have too many demions out on us and we can't handle it, because this all will fall under mental illness, mental things. But power, remember, mind is what you live in. You want power, you have to have mental power first. This is where you get it. You're still going to have to do it, even if you ain't looking at it from a Magnus point of view. Your reality has been lied to, you've been tricked, so you have to get your mind right to understand what's really going on anyway. So with that in mind, you're going through the lessons on the night side of the tree. That more is about your desires. So, you know, they're governed morally by the moon. Yes, yes, bless. Everything good? Respect. Alright, bless. Yes. Alright. Yes. So it's like when it comes to the moon side of you, that's the horn beings. You see Moses with the horn representing the moon, Nana Sin. It's the side of us that was here at one time when the earth and the moon was one. We was more like those werewolves, desires. Animals is desire beings. We share an astral body with them, you know, and we share ethereal body with plants. You got to understand these things. So we connected, like how they say in the book, take all the weeds and let it grow, and at the end of the harvest everything gets separated. So you trying to deny yourself is not the right thing to do. You have to learn to unite with yourself, because at the end everything is going to go its own way, just as long as you're conscious of the different sides of yourself. It's when you're not conscious of it, you're not in it. You're not in it. You're not awake. Your soul is not partaking in any of this. You know, so as I said, you start the journey through the night side of the tree. You know, it's people that could guide you as far as names. You could follow Bobby Hemmett. He got all the names. I don't follow names because I'm trying to study what is the influence it's having on me, and it's kind of creepy to me. So I wanted to know who's doing all these projections, what is going on. So I mostly know them. I got visual identity of everything. I could draw them, show you them one by one. There's thousands of them. But as far as names, I don't care. That's all I could get so far. Then nobody's telling me anything to manipulate my mind. I do research and I study and I see. Most people here, though, they talk to them. There's very few times. I get premonition. Don't get me wrong. I get all the information and data and all the downloads. I'm not talking about like that. But there's people out here, like my friend was telling me how, like, they saw a spirit, a girl, and it had a little brother, and they talked to the brother, and the brother said that his father killed the mother, and that's why they wandering around the house. Like that, I don't listen to. You understand? Like me, I only deal with higher beings, like creature-looking things, beast-looking things. I only talk to them, and they are the nicest spiritual guys that show me about myself on the journey. I don't really partake in like what's going on in the world and who died over what. They could take you off your course, and that's when you become like a psychic channeler, or you doing tarot card reading. That's as far as you're going to go. And it's also possessing you with all those spirits. Plus, if you don't know what you're doing, how to discharge them or how to give them redemption, you can't get rid of them. So they're always around you, and it turns you mentally crazy because you're always listening to them. They be your friend, you're giving them attention, not knowing that they're using you to live into this world. They in a different dimension, different frequency. that only psychics can see, or us in our chakra system. That's where they belong in there. But they can live through you as long as you interact with them and do all that stuff. So you got to understand what's going on. So a lot of people could call them and talk to them, but they don't know if they're still around. They didn't discharge them. You discharge them with plants. You always keep plants around you, keep animals around you, or you keep a candle lit, a flame. That's a discharge. Any type of spiritual worker that do healing or anything, always do it with a candle lit. It's the same when you go to the hospital. Good thing they can't cure you, and that's probably why they can't cure you, because they can't take it out of you. It's an entity. Any disease is an entity. And if they take it out of you, they displace it. Where they're going to put its energy can be destroyed. So it's going to be a free radical in the air, and it just attacks somebody else. So they only could cure you because it roams around in you, and they stabilize it, but they're never going to tell you they could cure you. That's why they don't cure. You understand? But us now, these healers that cure, those is the ones that is doing a lot of malice and don't know it if they ain't doing it right. In two ways. One, if you're healing somebody who got karmatic stuff put in them from the gods, that's what they deserve. So you got to interview them before you heal them, because a lot of the times all they got to do to heal themselves is go do some charity work or something, or give back. And in doing so, they take off the karma, or what had left them, which was really their magnetic field, got open to, and they got susceptible to the same thing they did to somebody. Aside from that, once you interview them and you find out it wasn't their fault and they're a victim of something, then you could go and heal them. But in healing them, make sure you keep a plant in the room. Make sure you got a cat in the room. Make sure you got a candle lit before you start any healing, any Reiki. Or else after years upon doing it, sometimes months, you're subject to those mental projections, those thought forms, how you doing? And everything that comes along with it, and it could eventually drive you crazy, open up chakras you don't know that's opening, and reveal things that you're not ready to handle. You know, so, you know, when with the night side of the tree, you have the the bottom side, which is your crown, right? Which is where on the front side is the top of your head, which is the pineal. Everything is backwards. So, you know, when you get to the root up at the top, which is now early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, it repeats the whole cycle all over, and you start now coming back down from the front, going all around. So its significance is the circadian rhythm of our whole body system, but it's night lessons, which starts after 5. Used to, back in the ancient days of Babylon and back in Lemuria and all that, we used to astral project at night to go learn lessons from the gods on how to curb our desires, what foods is here, what smells are. Everything that we feel is a force is actually a god. You know, what's not a god is you if you don't know yourself. But, you know, oh man, I don't want to get into the science. That's another deep thing that's going to get y'all lost, because everything, when I say everything, if you smile, something made you smile. There's a being that make you smile. There's a being for everything. There's nothing that animates itself without something animating it. But it's like, I'm not going to get into all that because it'll freak you out. But over a long period of this, everything will be let out and you will understand. So now you understand the basic of the day side of the tree and the night side of the tree. One is to help your health. That's the sun, the daytime, and it's more about getting your body in tune if you're doing meditation the right way in the daytime. Nighttime is going to be more sexual. It's going to be more fearful, anxiety, if you're doing it right. Each hour, a different god come on, so you could say, I'm going to meditate at 7. You get a different lesson from you do at 8, from a different lesson that you do at 9, all the way to the witching hour, where even if you don't meditate, they're coming to do the lessons. That's where you see spirits and a whole bunch of things happen around 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Those is actually the night lessons that a lot of us is conscious of now. Some people stay up and do on purpose. Other people's, they feel that's the only time they can meditate. It's all part of the same system. It's there to design you, to make you the M on the Aster. And remember, matter, same thing as, you know, master is close enough. You will see matter is your enemy. And it's not your enemy how you think, because you're God. When you came, no, in your pure self, you're God. In your thoughts, you're God. But in your action outside of yourself, you're in matter. Matter contradicts you. It's going to make you second what your thoughts is, your God self. And it's always going to be like that. Your impulses is always going to be negative towards the divine side of yourself. And so you have to make sure you balance yourself. And by balancing yourself, you will understand yourself more. So that's the whole concept of everything on the whole, with the day side, the day side of the tree and the night side of the tree. You should have a full understanding. The spine has got a front and a back to it. You have, harder being, harsher lessons, and you have to learn from it. All right, I hope this helped y'all. I've been going for a quick minute. We're going to get into that on tomorrow or something. And I'm still going to do some lives, but right now so much distractions going on. It's part of the lessons. It's part of the videos that we need to learn. And I will be explaining everything as time go on, but I'm caught up in it now too. And as I go through it, I don't like to multitask. I focus on one thing at a time so I could put my all into whatever I'm doing. So just stay tuned. Royal family, stay up and keep the faith. University of Conscious Science. One love.